Welcome back, Commanders, to Elite Dangerous. I'm having a day, and I feel like booting up Elite Dangerous. We streamed it last week, and now this week I've got a couple games that are just not working out for me. And I kind of want to talk. Let's talk Space Sims. Can we talk Space Sims for a second? Because I've now spent the last year playing an okay amount. I don't want to say a good amount, because people who play those games religiously are going to be like, you didn't do anything in those games. So I played an okay amount. Now, I've played a lot of Elite in the past, not just this year. This year I think I did, 3, 4, 5 episodes, but I have a lot of episodes and time under my belt in Elite. But I also played Star Citizen, and I played No Man's Sky, which, to the Space Sim nerds, they probably don't even consider No Man's Sky a space sim. I do. It's a space sim. It's an open world survival craft where you go out in space. It's a space sim. It's arcadey, but let's talk about them though. I've played all 3, and I've talked a bit about, if you've watched my No Man's Sky, engage Super Cruise. Oh, now I can. Engage Super Cruise. Hello? Voice attack? Hello? Are you listening? Oh, did it mess up? Hold on. My mic got messed up in voice attack again. Hold on. What do I need to change here? Okay, there we go. I got it fixed. Engage Super Cruise.
Frameshift drive charging.
Now, if you watch my No Man's Sky videos, I've talked about this a little bit, but we're going to talk about it now. This is going to be the video where I officially, ramble on about my thoughts on these games. Oh, by the way, I'm in a new ship. I'm in a, what is this called again? It's a, Diamondback Scout. Indigo Sun recommended I use this for exploration and shipping and whatnot. So we're working on deliveries, is what I mean by shipping. So we're working on getting it upgraded properly so I can do better jump ranges and whatnot. Anyways, here's the deal. Let's start with what all 3 games do relatively poorly in different ways. People. NPCs. The immersion of all of the games when it comes to the humanoid characters in the games, they're all varying degrees of garbage. Now, with everything I say in this video, Star Citizen gets the slightest of passes and excuses, because, well, it's still very much in development. Engine's at 3/4 impulse. Just in time. But I mean only the slightest. And I just say that so that when Star Citizen Fanboy comments and says that, I can say, I acknowledged that. However, they've been working on it for a really long time. And I said this to Indigo on that note, because Elite's been in development for a really long time. I think the thing that makes Elite's development cycle and Star Citizen's development cycle different is that the No Man's Sky developers had a better early game plan for success. Whereas the Star Citizen guys, they just seem to have off priorities. And yes, maybe when it's done, maybe they made the right decision. Maybe when it's all said and done, they laid the proper foundation for the most amazing space sim. But is it worth it? Disengage Super Cruise. Is it worth it? Have you caused too rocky of a start to overcome? Like, yeah, the survival aspect of it and the immersion of how big the stations are and the planets are and stuff like that. That's great and all. But like the variety of like missions that are there, as far as I'm aware, I know some people would probably say, well, you didn't experience enough. And you're right, I didn't. And we'll get to why I didn't later. That's part of why I don't care for Star Citizen that much in its current state. But anyway, so they're all equally bad with their NPCs. They all just kind of stand there. They all just kind of say generic things. And this is where it starts to get variable, right? Because like elite NPCs, I feel like, are kind of like cyberpunk NPCs. Like you walk up to them, they say a thing, and that's their thing. But at least what they're saying is like, you know, intelligible. Whereas in No Man's Sky, everything everyone says is just the most meaningless, sometimes over the top mumbo jumbo. Like, and it's almost like pandering to me in a way that's like, we want you to feel like this game is deep, so we're gonna have them say something that sounds deep, but it really is just like random sci-fi phrase generator. That's what I feel like talking to NPCs is they're just rolling the dice. They have a set of, 20 sentence designs that it's almost like a Mad Lib. Oh my goodness, that is what No Man's Sky NPCs are doing. They are running a dialogue system based on Mad Libs. And that's not even just like normal NPCs either. That's even like plot line, story, main mission, computers, and people that you talk to. Everything they talk about is said in this grandiose way, but it's like, but does that really mean anything? Is there actually substance to this? Not really. And then Star Citizen NPCs, well, they're lucky to be standing in the proper position, in the proper orientation. You can forget about them saying anything to you. And you know what? That's okay. That's okay for all three of them to be bad at. Because I'd rather them get that bad than ship combat or travel or whatever. So let's talk about that next. Travel and combat and all that jazz. Hold on, let me pay attention to what I'm doing here before I buy the wrong thing. So I got the 4A frameshift drive. I want a 4C power plant. That's just store module. I want to replace. So we want 4C. EDDB told me you had it. Did EDDB lie to me? EDDB, you lied to me. We're going to get to EDDB in a little bit. Let me look. I said has 4C power plant. You told me that Lonk Enterprise had it. Freemanport in Mindjalara also says you have it. I don't think you do, though. Interesting. Okay, well. Does it have my thrusters? Oh, can't a module will exceed maximum mass. Wait, what? But wait, hold on. Maybe it is there. And it's just grayed out and I wasn't seeing it. It is there. Oh, insufficient credits. Oh. I bought a ship and now I can't. Okay, well, let's do some missions instead. Can I sell y'all anything? Anything you want to buy information-wise? I can sell you a few things. It's not enough. That's funny. So, what was I talking about? Let's talk about travel. That's what we were going to talk about. Travel. I don't mind traveling all of them, traversing the systems and from station to station. I think it's fine in all of them. Each one of them does it in the way that it should. Personally, I like the gameplay loop that Elite provides. Right? I think it provides the most immersive experience for, in my mind, how it should work. The idea that you travel to the star of the system quickly, and then you go into, interstate mode, going to places within the system. I like that. That's fine. I think No Man's Skies is relatively similar, honestly. But honestly, it's hard to. Theirs is easy, and it should be for a reason. Okay, so that's 101. How far away is that? 106 light years away. 300 credits. Oh, 445. That would take me forever. Okay, so all of these are bringing it back here. It's like sourcing and bringing it back. 24. I only have 16 available slots. So maybe that first one is my best option. Yeah. Let's just go with it. 2 units of water purifiers. 2 Enophis. Okay. They got him. Got him. Yes. Okay. So, I think travel is done fine in all the games. I felt Star Citizens was probably the weakest of the 3. I don't know. I just didn't feel like, I didn't feel like I was there as I was traveling from place to place. Now, landing on a planet, now that's a different story. That's a different story. I think all 3 games do planetary approach and landing perfect. I think they all do it really well. They all do it really similar. Fanboys of each would probably disagree, and that's okay. There's a good thing to transition to. Let's talk about the fans. Let's talk about the community of each game. Okay? Now, truth be told, I have the least experience with the No Man's Sky community. They seem to be great. However, I didn't get as much traction with that series as I did with my Elite or Star Citizens. So they aren't as well represented in my knowledge of this topic. But from what I can tell, the people who play Star Citizen really like it. And they are not at all the same type of people who would enjoy Elite or Star Citizen. Like, there's a little bit of overlap in that Venn diagram, but not much. I think the No Man's Sky people, I don't think there's a huge audience for No Man's Sky content, especially Let's Play content, because they're too busy playing the game and enjoying it. Whereas with Elite and Star Citizen, there are less content creators, but more need for it. And so, like, those series tend to do better. And those games are just kind of more fun to watch people play in a way, for a variety of reasons. I need to schedule out my path. Because in No Man's Sky, like, what you're watching somebody do is not super far off from you just playing the game. You know what I mean? Like, I can watch somebody play Elite Dangerous very different from me. Oh, wait, can I say go to this system? Oh, I didn't even go to the right map. Hold on. Yeah, can I do this? Oh, that's so far away. How many jumps are we talking? Only 11 jumps. That's not bad. That's great. Way faster than it would have been in my other ship that I had been in. So anyway, so No Man's Sky fans, I can't say too much about. Elite fans, of all of the games that I have played, engage warp drive. Of all the games I've played, the only game that has provided a better fan base to me is Guild Wars 2. And the only difference that I can see between those two fan bases, the reason for the difference is ArenaNet, the developers of Guild Wars 2, have done a much better job at keeping the fans happy than Frontier has done with Elite. That being said, I can't recall having any toxic or unfortunate... Oh, dadgummit, I just... Select next destination on route. There we go. Did it? I don't think it did. Target next destination on route. Maybe that command isn't working because I just screwed it up. And I can never remember what's the best way to do that. Target next waypoint. I don't remember what it was. Yeah, how can I? Can I just go up there? No, I can't go up there and do it. It's been so long since I've played. I've lost like certain muscle memory. Okay, there we go. Elite's fans welcomed me and were so kind and so generous, and like they were all super helpful, and just they wanted to make sure that I had the best experience a new player could have. Like Engage Warp Drive. Maybe the worst I experienced was people who may have like been trying to push me too far too fast. You know, like engineering stuff. There were people who may have been wanting me to do engineering stuff probably before I was ready, because in their mind, that's where the game gets good. Personally, I think that's where I kind of stop enjoying the game a little bit. I just want to play Space Trucker. I want to play Bounty Hunter. I don't care about min-maxing my ship and getting all of these specialized parts that require me to do the most boring, grindy missions ever in the game. In my opinion, there may be some okay ones, but the one I did not enjoy. Engage Warp Drive. Star Citizen, on the other hand, for the most part, the fan base was great. For the most part. They struggled a bit with their ability to communicate. And it's not completely their fault, because like with the Elite fan base, they have created these beautiful systems around Elite Dangerous, like EDDB, like I talked about earlier. That is a fan-created resource for commanders. And what's great about it is using it doesn't feel like I'm looking up a wiki to play a game. It feels like a part of the game. It feels like I'm a new commander in this world. I've got my new ship, Engage Warp Drive. And that I'm having to go to my computer in my ship, even though it's just on my other monitor, right? I'm having to go to my computer and look up these things. And the fans, they've just done such a great job with it. It feels immersive. Star Citizen doesn't have that because it can't, because they're constantly changing things. They are in such a perpetual state of change that it's not worth the fans' time to do that. And so I don't blame them completely, but some of them have communication, social issues going on, particularly dealing with new players online. Engage Warp Drive. And I'm going to call out one guy. Hey, if you're here, one guy, hey, I hope you're having a great day. But you frustrated the crap out of me. If you're going to, hey, here's a pro tip. If you're leaving a comment on a YouTuber's video and it's about a specific thing in the video, if you, at the very least, describe the thing you're talking about, and even better, provide a timestamp. That is invaluable. But when you leave a comment, some of y'all are tired of hearing this, but I'm going to say it again because it's the best example I have when talking about the Star Citizen. Oh, I've been forgetting to honk. I need to honk. How do I get those things up? There we go. If all you do is leave a comment, engage warp drive, saying your keybinds are broken, you messed them up, you need to reset them. If that's all you say, and I've said, I only changed this, and this. You know, what is it I'm asking, what is it you're seeing that's wrong? Answer my question. You, oh great wise one, know the answer to the question. And he refused to give the answer. He just kept saying, trust me, I know what I'm talking about. Just reset your keybinds and start over. But if you don't answer my question, history is doomed to repeat itself. And he refused to answer my questions. And guess what? Guess what? I got through it. I fixed my keybinds. Engage warp drive. And I did it without a reset. And I learned from it. I became more knowledgeable of the game because I did not do the reset, which he and a lot of other people were suggesting I do.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Let's talk about controls, since we're talking about keybinds. I think the controls in Star Citizen mistook. I think the controls in Star Citizen. I think they think.
Fuel scooping.
Engage warp drive. I think they think that in order to feel immersive and realistic, it must be difficult and confusing. And I'm sorry, that is just not the case. I don't see any reason why they could not simplify their ship controls. Even by just 20 or 25%. Change some of the terminology, gamify it just a little. And the controls on Star Citizen will be so much better. Like, the process of leaving a hangar is horribly unintuitive. You click on a button that's a Wi-Fi symbol. The game didn't tell me that. And it's not the only way, but it is kind of like the suggested way. And the game didn't tell me that. Well, that's just a good example. I think Elite is a beautiful balance. Engage warp drive.
Frameshift drive charging.
I think Elite is a beautiful balance for controls and complexity. I think they have made it so that it works so well for if you want to do mouse and keyboard, if you want to do joystick, if you want to do a throttle and joystick combo. I have done both of those, by the way. I have not done keyboard and mouse. I have not done controller, but apparently people love it on controller too. I think Star Citizen, you've got to use either a very good HOTAS with lots of buttons, but then you have to spend a lot of time memorizing what things do. Well, you have to do that anyways. Or you have to use a HOTAS keyboard mix, or like I did, a HOTAS Stream Deck mixed, which that worked fine because then I could put the controls on the Stream Deck using terms that I understand. So instead of Wi-Fi symbol, it said request permission to depart. You know what I mean? Like here in Elite, I go over to the contacts tab, I go to the station that I want to approach, and I say, okay, I want to dock, and it says, okay, go for it. Engage warp drive.
Frameshift drive.
No Man's Sky's controls, they're fine. I don't love them. I think they're built more for controller, and I prefer mouse and keyboard. I think that's my issue with No Man's Sky's controls. It feels floaty and a little unresponsive, both on foot and on ship. Hey, let's talk about on foot now. Let's keep transitioning one after another. Space legs. Let's talk about space legs. I think... So I have done combat in all 3 games. I think... I can't believe I'm going to say this. After playing it, I would not have thought I would have said this. I think No Man's Sky... Or, sorry, I think Elite Dangerous beats out the other 2. Engage warp drive.
Frameshift drive charging.
Now, part of this is because the one on-foot combat mission I did in Star Citizen, the build-up to it was incredible. It is one of those... It is a locked core memory for me. When I land my ship, and I don't know that I'm doing it in a place that I'm going to get shot. My ship is going to get shot on the ground, which was kind of weird to me. After I landed, anyways, so I get out of my ship and I enter the bunker, and I get in the bunker, and then I hear this explosion, and I go outside and I see my ship blow up, and I am trapped. I am now stuck. It was incredible. And then I go down into the bunker, and the combat could not have been more boring. The AI of the enemies was just so bad. Elite's combat, it's really not bad. It's just nowhere near as good as the ship stuff. Engines at 3/4 impulse. Ooh, I hope I got that one in time. I got to learn to start saying that sooner. No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky would win if you fought humanoids. But you're only ever fighting sentinels and animals. And that's immersion breaking to me, because I don't believe for 1 second that in that entire world, and if I'm wrong, someone correct me, but no one has corrected me yet on that. Oh, that's a great looking planet. Ooh. You never go and fight a bandit group of Korvax. Oh, if they had that, I would love combat. Fighting the drones is just not interesting. And then ship combat. Now we're going to shift. Ship combat. Let's talk about ship combat. Ship combat in No Man's Sky is arcadey, but just, I don't know, it's okay. Disengage warp drive. Nope. Disengage super cruise. It's okay. I don't love it. What I really don't like about it is when you are in space and you are being targeted by a bunch of... And I love the immersion of the people talking to you in Elite. It's just so cool. So we go over here, request docking, and the ship takes over. Well, I mean, it doesn't have to, but it does for my case. No Man's Sky. I don't like when you're fighting the... I can't even remember what they're called. The Sentinels. When you're fighting the Sentinels in space, they just keep coming. They just keep coming and coming and coming and coming and coming. And it's like, my ship, in one of my latest videos, the only way I could get out of it was to spawn in the thing, the big... What is it? The anomaly. The only way I could get out of the combat was to, in the 3 seconds or 10 seconds between waves of sentinels, was to spawn the space anomaly and bolt to it as fast as I could. I could not get warp up fast enough. And the few times I did, they interdicted me. And it was like, okay, if you're going to do this, you have to do 2 things, developers. You have to make this combat more fun. It's okay. It's okay for a little while, but long-term fighting on No Man's Sky is just not that interesting, because it's just the same thing over and over again. Now, yes, if I had better and different weapons, it would be different. But fighting the Sentinels is just not that interesting to me. But But you also have to give it an end, or give us an easier way out. Ship combat in Star Citizen, I don't have a lot of good experience with. I only did it once, and I did it twice, and I was bad at it both times. I think it's fine. I think I prefer the ship feel and controls in Elite better. It feels more laborious. I think the ships in Star Citizen are almost too capable, if that makes sense. Like, you turn and move so fast, and maybe that is more realistic. I don't know. I like the feel of Elite. Now, granted, that's what I started with, so I'm going to like that more, obviously. Let's see. What other things have we not talked about? Ooh, that's a lot. Excellent. Graphics, I think they all get the graphics fine. They're great. I think Star Citizen probably has a leg up overall. But in terms of, like, you know, how complete Elite is, I have to kind of give the nod to Elite. We'll see if they have what I need. No Man's Sky's graphics, I think it's a really cool look. Oh, I don't think I ever really finished my thoughts on planetary landings. I think Elite is probably the most frustrating planetary landings, but Star Citizen isn't far behind it. Sound, I think they all do phenomenally well on, but no one does audio, music, sound effects, everything better than Frontier. Their sound is like James Cameron worthy stuff. It is just so good. Oh, man. Oh, 4C, hallelujah. So we want to sell current module. Thank you. And do we have 4C thrusters? We do. 178. Yep, I can afford that. Thank you. Oh, yeah. So. Okay, cool. I wonder how far I can jump now. Probably just said on that screen and I wasn't looking. Is there anything else I want to talk about? I think because we're reaching a pretty far. We've gone on far long enough with this. So what does all this mean? What does all this mean? Oh, here's one thing I want to talk about. Well, we're going to finish with this. Gameplay loops. Let's talk gameplay loops. I think No Man's Sky, they're all very similar in their gameplay loops. I think No Man's Skies is fine. I think the problem with No Man's Skies is the end of the loop often doesn't provide much of a tangible reward. No Man's Sky has so many items, and I don't know what the heck I'm supposed to do with them. And that was the reason why it took me forever to even play it for longer than an hour or two, because I just ended up with this cluttered inventory of crap that I don't know what any of it is. And I don't know if I should sell it. I don't know if I need to hold on to it. And now they've allowed me to change the settings to allow me to have a bigger inventory, and the stacks can be bigger and stuff like that. So that helped a lot. I think the gameplay loop in No Man's Sky is fine. I think the missions, the way that you manage your missions is good. But again, I think the problem is everywhere you go, you're talking to people or computers that are saying they almost sound like street preachers preaching about the spaghetti monster. You know what I mean? Like, they're like, "Oh, great traveler, thank you for arriving to the altar of Anubisian, the origin of the great seekers of the ancestral travelers. May you go in peace. But first, what do you see and what do you do with thus thou orb of blood, do you touch or not touch? And then you're left to think, okay, well, do I touch it or do I not touch it? What's better? What's worse? You have no idea. You choose one randomly and then something good or bad happens. But the reward you get or the punishment you get or whatever happens, like, it happens and you're just like, okay, thanks, I guess. And then you go off and you do it again for someone else in some other way. Elite, I feel like Elite has multiple gameplay loops that you can pursue that are all, they feel fully fleshed out, right? It could be as simple as being a bounty hunter or being a space delivery guy. Those themselves feel complete, but then you can do so much more. You can play the trader route and be like finding systems that are selling things at a low price and research and use EDDB to find a place that buys them at a high price. You know, like there's so much depth with the engineers and stuff like that. Like with Elite, they allow you to craft the gameplay loop that you so desire. And each one, from what I can tell, even though I haven't done each one, but just from talking to the community, each one feels complete and everyone kind of finds their niche that they enjoy doing. Star Citizen is getting there. But right now, like, there's only so much you can do, right, in Star Citizen. And my problem with the gameplay loop in Star Citizen is everything just takes so long. Like, I chose to spawn in, I don't remember where it was, the cold planet, the futuristic looking newer spaceport, I think it was. Newer as in like newer to the game. I may be wrong on that. And like you wake up in a hotel room, which is super immersive. That's cool. And then you got to go out to the elevator of the hotel, that's immersive. That's really cool. And then you end up in like the lobby of the hotel, which is immersive. That's really cool. And then connected to the hotel is a tram, like subway station. And it's immersive. And it's really cool. And you got to wait on the subway to get there. And it's immersive. And it's really cool. And then you take the subway to like the little downtown shopping area, and it's immersive and it's really cool. And like you buy all the items by purchasing them from the, here's another problem I had with the okay, someone else, another person on Star Citizen fan base, okay, that drove me nuts. Two things that they said. Okay. So I heard two different things, right? They would say some of them would say, oh yeah, that's just a bug in the game. But then there were other things where something goes wrong and they're like, oh, you did something wrong. And I'm like, but what was it? Well, I don't know what you did wrong, but you did something wrong. Well, why couldn't that have been a bug? But anyways, the bigger issue is someone kept saying, multiple people said, Star Citizen is very realistic. You can't think of it like a game. You have to think of it like real life. So when you go to the shop, you don't talk to the shopkeeper. You walk up to the item and you buy it. And I'm like, okay, telling me to think of Star Citizen like it's life and not a game is this is the biggest pile of crap I've ever heard. Maybe certain aspects of it, but you can't think that way about everything because you're walking to terminals instead of talking to people. And like, there's lots of things in that game that are game mechanics. They're not real world immersion. So like, you can't say that. And also in the real world, I walk up to the item, I grab it and I take it up to the counter. The game doesn't do that. You just stand in front of it and you buy it. So no, it's not like the real world. Thank you very much, bucko. Where was I? Elite. No. Star Citizen gameplay loops. Oh, yeah, right. So you're in the downtown area and you can go to shops and it's super immersive, right? But then you got to go to the spaceport from there and you got to find it. And then you go to the terminal and you're like, hey, I want to request my ship. Can I get a bay? And can you take it to there? Great. It's immersive and it's cool. And you get on another elevator and it takes you to your ship and you get in it and it's immersive and it's cool. And then you're finally ready to depart and you click the little Wi-Fi button. Great. And you can depart and it's cool. But having to do that multiple times, here's the problem. It takes so much more of a time commitment to enjoy Star Citizen and like to get to the really cool things, to get your ship good enough and to get your skills good enough. You have to commit a whole lot of time. And you have to commit that time many times over because they keep doing wipes, right? Like, yeah, you don't have to redevelop your skills, but you probably have to repurchase some ships and equipment and snack bars. And so, like, I've seen people do, like, escape missions, like where you help people escape from prison. That is rad. That is really cool. I think that is a really cool thing. But in order to get to that point in the game, you have to devote so much time and consistent time. I'm not talking playing 30 minutes a day. I'm talking it took 30 minutes for a new player just to find the spaceport, if not longer. Which, again, is cool and immersive the first time. And granted, yes, then you fly off, you go to the space station. Well, first you explode by running into the space station because it's dark and you can't see it. But then you wind up back in your hotel room and you do all the stuff that you just talked about over again until you reset your home to that space station. But then there are other things that will reset your home back to your original home, and then wipes happen and that resets your... It's too much of a time sink for too little reward in the gameplay loop. In the Kyle Blaine world of space sims, I say all of that to say this. I dub Elite Dangerous the king at the moment. They all have their merits, but for me, Elite is my choice. Elite is my game that I can get into and easily play for 20 minutes and feel accomplished. I don't get that from the other two. I could play No Man's Sky for an hour or 2 hours and do lots of things, but not really feel that accomplished. Maybe if I'm building the base, maybe that'll make me feel accomplished. Now, does this mean I'm going to make content for Elite? Maybe. If y'all don't mind watching me play Space Trucker, maybe occasionally do some, eventually build up a ship to do some bounty hunting. But right now, I'm enjoying shush plane. Shush. Right now, I just want to go into Space Trucker mode. I want to try out new ships, right? That's honestly my favorite thing in Elite Dangerous. Is how easy it is to like try out new ships and get them upgraded, and it's fun. And it's fun because you have to go to EDDB and be like, okay, where do I go to buy these things? And then eventually I get access to Soul. I need to work on that and stuff like that. Anyways, I've rambled on enough. I have been planning on making this video for the last year, and I have finally got it all out. Thank you for listening. Thank you to everyone, Star Citizen, Elite, No Man's Sky, all of you who watched all of them. If you were here for just the Star Citizen content, if you want to hang around, great. We will probably dive back into Star Citizen. I'm not going to just waste my money and never play it again. I will likely dive back into it later. If you're an Elite fan, maybe look forward to some content. Who knows? Just don't expect it to be super... I'm not here to make super flashy. Oh, let's go do this crazy thing. Oh, here's a new thing I want to try. No, you're going to put me on in the background while you do your own ship trucking. Space trucking. That's the word. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Oh, and No Man's Sky people, you're probably not watching because you're too busy enjoying the game. You go enjoy the game. And we will see you guys later. Adios. Goodbye.